What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, I am going to be doing a video talking about my draft classes on Madden 24. I have no idea. I don't think they're cross-platform, so unfortunately, if you're not on Xbox Series X or S, I don't think you'll be able to use these draft classes. Hopefully, next year they are cross-platform, but who knows? It's Madden. After all, it is EA and Madden, so before I really get to talking about the draft classes, though, I do want to say by the time this video drops and is being recorded right now, I do have 100 subscribers. So I want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed and helped me grow this channel by, liking, sharing, subscribing, doing whatever. You guys are real ones for that, if that is you. So I made a post about it on Instagram and on the community tab. So if you haven't seen those, this is me saying it in video form. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to keep on pushing. So now to the video at hand. A lot of you are probably, if you're watching this video, are interested in the 2024 and 2025 draft classes mostly. What I'll say about them is this is a very much of a lull period for these two draft classes specifically because transfer portal is heavy. A lot of people are declaring for the draft that I had in 2025. Guys like Frank Gore Jr. declared. Someone declared like yesterday too that I had in 2025. Oh yeah, Nate Wiggins declared. I had him in 2025, so I got to move those guys in. There's some guys in 2024 I have to move out because they are entering the transfer portal. A lot of quarterbacks right here. We got DJ Uyunglele, Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Van Dyke. All three of those guys are in the transfer portal. Julian Fleming's in the transfer portal. He's in 2024. So I'm gonna have to move those guys out. So I'm waiting until the transfer portal at least calms down a little bit before I move these guys over, which is why it's the lull period, because I don't want to constantly be working like transferring, moving back and forth. I want to get everybody that's moving out of 2024 into 2025. I want to get everybody moving out of 2025 into 2024 or past 2024 and then fix it. So that way it'll just be easier on me to do that. And I think it'll be more beneficial. So that way I can say, okay, this is the big update coming out. This is what happened in this big update when I upload these draft classes, as opposed to saying, oh, this player's in now. Oh, this player's in now. Oh, this player's in now. So the only time I really did that is when I moved, and I'll get to this in 2025, but I moved Shadur Sanders, Michael Pratt, those guys into 2025 kind of quietly, which I do apologize if that caused any conveniences for anybody. I've made it an effort to not have duplicate players in my draft classes because that was always something that bugged me about doing this in the past. Because what I would do in the past is instead of making them from scratch, which I wanted to do this year, so that way I could make sure all prospects that me and my friends had would be in a draft class, which was never a guarantee before. Because what would happen before is I would download someone's draft class for 2024 and 2025. Usually those two would go hand in hand. And then it'd be hit or miss if I found one for 2026. So I'd find one and there'd be duplicate players. It was just a whole mess that I didn't want to deal with. So I decided to make them myself this year. So now that we're in 2025, I'm going to go into the edit menu here because of a couple things. And I didn't do this for 2024, but the 2024 draft class does have a glitch with the right guards where there's a bunch of like undrafted guys here. All these are undrafted, and then there's drafted guys underneath. I don't know why Madden has that issue, but they do. There's also the issue of people showing up with the same pick, which you'll see later on. I know, but like it'll show up round one, pick one for two people. And that's just also a Madden issue that happens, I think, just from moving players around for positions and stuff. Nothing I can do about it. It's just kind of a thing that Madden has. I want to explain. It's not as bad in let me load 2024 because it's not as bad in 2025. In the 2024 draft class, this I'm also going to explain how I do ratings here. You'll see that left ends, right ends, and the outside left and right outside linebackers are a little low in terms of what would normally be in a Madden draft class. I'll show you here. Do do do. Yeah, so here, round one, pick one, and an undrafted. They're all right here. Like it's just so weird. Ooh. Yeah, left end, right end. So left end's not that bad, but right end, there's this many. And the way I did it is I looked at Pro Football Focus and I used whatever they played the most snaps at or started the most games at is the position I put them in. Really, I did that so that it would match the play style of the player and the team. So I'm trying. I don't think there's very many out. I know there is some outside linebackers that are pass coverage and run stopper guys because they played outside of the tackles. But there's a lot of middle linebackers. A lot, a lot, a lot. There's this whole thing of middle linebackers because if you play within the tackles at all, you're considered some sort of inside linebacker. Even looking at like just normal depth charts, there's a lot of positions that are basically just middle linebackers but slightly different. They do different things. And maybe they don't line up directly in the middle, but they line up slightly to the left or slightly to the right of the center. So they're still considered middle linebackers. And I tried to paint that. And plus, I figured since a lot of users are going to be using this, they can just move players around based on where they want them anyway. So I hope it's not that big of a deal for you guys. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. So that's why I did it this way. So the 2024 draft class will not be fully done until combine season and actually NFL draft season because I want to get every single draft pick that gets picked in the draft class. So 2024 won't be fully done until then. 2025 might be done a little bit before because I plan on having it done when the transfer portal cools down. And also for 2024, once the combine's done, that's when I'll know all the actual physical ratings, speed, strength, all that, and that will be updated as well. So it will become the best 2024 draft class eventually, even if it's not at this moment. I left it when I first stopped doing these, I left it in a good spot. Right now, I'd say it's a little bit outdated just because, again, people have transferred and declared since I edited it. And so don't expect another update. Probably, honestly, not for a while, just because I want to wait for everything to calm down first. And I want to, and in this meantime, I'll be trying to do 2026, 2027, 2028 and 2029. So, because I do have to make time to do those as well. 2025, the biggest hang up with it right now is, let's see, right here. So, Ashton Galati, I think that's how you say his last name. He's a edge rusher for Louisville. And if you know him, for one, he's not a black dude. He does not look like this. Okay? So, this is the biggest hang up for 2025 right now for me is doing any draft class right now, really. They finally fixed the physique glitch. I haven't edited his, so he still looks broken there. But this is the glitch that replaced it. It's been going on for about a month now, I think, where because it was the patch before this last one, I think, is when it was broken. And you can't see the faces at all on the screen. It's just black squares. So, luckily, since I've been doing this for a while, I can roughly know where the area some faces are in if I'm looking for a specific one, but I can't find any new ones because I don't know where they are. Unless I want to scroll individually through all, what, 250, 260 of them. to find the right one, I don't want to do that. So it's just harder. It adds extra time that doesn't need to be there. It already takes like 5 to 10 minutes, I'd say, and it just adds extra time that I don't need. Also, you're probably wondering because, I did say Ashton for his first name. For some reason, man thinks that's a bad name. I know you probably also noticed it with Tyler Van Dyke. I switched the couple letters around because obviously the word Dyke you can't use, but that's his name. There does this with a few other names that are just kind of weird to me, but you know, uh, that's Madden for you, I guess. Dealing with EA's glitches is by far the hardest part of this whole thing. It is satisfying, and I say that because it is just very satisfying. Like that's not Grayson Murphy either. He does not look like that. It's very satisfying now that I'm doing it all myself when I get done with the draft class because, it's like I did it all myself and I'm proud of it. It looks good. People like it as well. Again, I'm very appreciative to everyone that has downloaded these and liked these and subscribed and whatever because of these draft classes and even if it's not because of these draft classes. One thing I've seen that I've gotten a review on is that the ratings are high. I do tend to agree with that. And the reason the ratings are so high is because I tried to base it off the Madden generated draft classes, which run higher than the normal Madden draft classes, like the real life draft classes. And also because I think it's more fun. It's realistic. I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, but still fun. This way you can there's multiple different players at each position for the most part that you could pick from and still probably be happy with. It balances out the league because a lot of me and my friends have most of the top players. So it balances out the league a little bit, gives options for everybody. So that's why I wanted to do that. As for like development traits and stuff, they're based on what I think of the evaluation, except for 2026 and beyond, which is why I opened the 2026 draft class here. Because they're based on high school alone for the most part. Some of these freshmen have played already, kind of seen their potential, and they've moved around because of it. Not a whole lot. Like, I think most of these guys still all have superstar. This guy's not real. The guys that have superstar have superstar. Benjamin Morrison, I might have to move down, but we'll see. To 2025. Anyway, so the top 15 players in each recruiting class get superstar. The top player might get X Factor depending on if I think they deserve it or not. But the top 15 will get Superstar. There might be a couple flyers because, like, I'll get to it later, but LT Overton was 2022 draft class, I believe, and he was a top player in 2023, and he reclassified and would be a star. But I kept the superstar on him because if he's in the other class, he's a top 15 player. Same thing with Armando Blunt, which we'll see later. He was in 2025 and he reclassed to 2024 and that dropped his ranking. Same thing with Des Ricks, who might be in this draft class actually. Yeah, Des Ricks was also in 2024. He reclassed to 2023, dropped his overall ranking, but he's still a superstar, I'm pretty sure. So that's how I did the dev traits. As for the 2024, 2025, those are just based on my projection because I tried to make these ratings as objective as possible. And then the dev trait would be like my evaluation. Just so that way it's a lot more fair because I used to base it just solely based on my evaluation. And that's what, not even necessarily the ranking because the rankings I will do more objectively as well, but that's where the dev trait comes in. Speaking of 2026 and beyond, I'm they probably will not have 450 players. I will try to do that for 2024 and 2025. I mean, I have enough 2025 players on my spreadsheet right now that I could do it and then some. And the reason is just because it's mostly high schoolers, and I really don't know sometimes who's going to be good and who won't. So a lot of the top players will be made, and I think I might have done like the top 300 and then added a couple more players in there. So I will all 7 rounds should for sure be filled out, and there will probably be some undrafted free agents that are real. Other than that, it's gonna probably just be fake players. The only thing I would really do is fill in names. I don't really have time to watch film on like what would end up being 300 or so extra players, 100 more for each year. I don't really have the time to do that because I do work still. I have, I guess, two like part-time jobs, kind of to take together almost makes a full-time job. So I do have to balance that as well as doing these. So that is also why some updates are slower and some things don't happen as fast because I'm trying to balance time out. So I do hope you guys can understand that. I hope it's worth the wait for you. That's as much as I can say about that, really. As for how I do overalls for people that the players in high school still, if they have a player comparison from either On3 or 247, those are the main two I use. I find the player in Madden because most of them are current players. I find the player in Madden and then I shape ratings based on that. Like Malachi Nelson here, he's in the 2023 draft class, so I have him staying another year in college. Again, another projection, which is why it also gets convoluted and why I also only do like the top 300 players because I'm trying to project who stays and who doesn't. Last year, when I did draft classes, I disregarded all of that and just made every 2023 player 2026. I did that, did it that way. I didn't want to do that again. I wanted to project because that's not realistic. Again, I tried to make these as realistic as possible. Anyways, I and if they didn't have a player comparison, I watched film and figured it out based on that. As for how I did physical ratings like speed and strength and all that, strength in high school is really just a guess. It's really a huge guess. So and again, especially if they don't have any player comparisons or anything, if they did, I used those. If they didn't, kind of just had to guess based on film, which is really hard to do. Speed, on the other hand, is a lot more easy to quantify because if they ran a 40, I use that most of the time, unless it just felt weird for the player, then I would change it. Sometimes if they ran track, especially if they ran 100 meter, because it's easy to. I found a website that'll convert 100 meter times into 40 times. A lot of those seem more accurate for the player, again, based on film that I watched, so I use those. Usually they go hand in hand, but sometimes they don't, and I have to make a decision. So speed's a lot easier and then again, if it's player comparison, I use the player comparison. Like, let's see, Micah Hudson here compared to Jamar Chase, Dylan Raiola, Dwayne Haskins, Malachi Nelson, Marcus Mariota. So I think you can kind of see the picture I'm going for there. Let me pull up 2028, show the 2028. And again, these are all still work in progress, and they will be. These I'm trying to do now, but because I haven't been updating I updated my spreadsheet before the season, and I didn't really do it since. So I have been updating that as I go along because that's what I use to figure out what players I'm putting where. So I don't necessarily need it because I'm trying to, but it helps me sort and organize things. But it's a very not detailed spreadsheet because I was gonna put overalls in there, but I'm like, when I actually do the overalls, if it doesn't match the overall that I wrote down, then it's gonna annoy me. So I'm just not gonna do it and avoid it altogether. And it's better that way. I like it better that way. It annoys me a lot less because I'm just weird about it. Weird about that. So the only thing in the spreadsheet is positions. And again, if I have to watch film on them, it's just whatever I see them on film at the most is what position I put them at. It's position, it's name, it's college, it's development trait. That's it. That's the only thing that's there. And then I have it color coded based on a player's completely done, somewhat done, or not touched at all. And again, here's another example of the glitch that's in Madden with the rankings. There's two of these, two pick threes, two pick six, two pick 12s, like two 17s. Don't know why. I mean, I have an idea as to why, but I don't know why exactly because I haven't moved that many positions. Whatever. I think the last detail about a draft class specifically is the 2029 draft class, which I will load up now. Most of these players, this one is going to be kind of crowded just because it's the 2028 or the 2025 play recruiting class players that I think will stay a fourth year in college. I don't have a fifth year yet because I don't have a 2030 draft class. I might next year if I do these next year. Again, I plan on doing these next year, but if I don't have the time, I won't. So I can't make any I don't want to make any promises I can't keep. So I'm not going to say I will do it next year, but if everything goes to plan, I will be doing these next year, and I probably will have 2030, maybe 2031. But I was going to do 2030 for this year, but the issue with that is that there wasn't enough 20. I think there's maybe 90 2026 players right now that are ranked. Again, because most of them are freshmen, so they haven't played enough varsity yet to get a good ranking on them. So I just decided to stick all the 2026 people in 2029 with the 2028 leftovers, as I say, or with the 2025 leftovers, I should say. So it'll be a pretty crowded draft class. It is already. Like, I think I've made more players in this than in 2027 and 2028. So, and again, you might be looking at these and be like, hey, I think like I'm missing some top high school prospects, like in that are in the top 50. I guess I never finished that. Like top 15 are superstar, and then the rest of the top 50 would be star development. Like I'm missing some of those. It's because when I did these, and like I said, I haven't gone in and added more players yet, mostly because of the glitch with the faces. When I did these, I made the players that me and my friends get first before I did anything else. That's why if you saw these from the beginning, how I uploaded them 2024, 2025, I did that for two reasons. One, to show that I was making all of them, and two, because all the players I needed to make in there were made, and so that me and my friends would start our franchise and get our prospects, and then when that was done, because we do different ones throughout the year, then I would go in and add more players as we weren't playing and as I had time and whatever, and ended up filling it out. I fill out 2024 all the way, 2025 is all the way filled out. Nowhere close to, not close to done for either, again, because of the transfer portal now and everything. So it kind of threw a wrench in the plans there. So if I do this next year, I think I might still leave about 50 players or so that are not real so I can play around with it. But we'll see. This is the first year I'm doing this all from scratch. So if anyone has pointers out there, I will listen. Any advice, anything I should change, I would love to hear it. Like I said, I do plan on doing this next year. I don't want to make any promises or anything again because I can't predict the future, and I don't want to make a commitment that I can't follow through on. So all I'll say is that I plan on doing it. I want to do it next year. I just don't know if I'll be able to. That's what I'll say about that. I tried to make this video as brief as I could and cover all the points I wanted to cover. So it ran a little longer than I wanted at 25 minutes, but if you have stayed until the end, I do appreciate it. I want to thank you guys again for 100 subscribers. It's a milestone I've been wanting for a long time. Finally reached it. It's it makes me want to keep going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know what my next video is going to be, but I hope it'll be coming out soon because I want to start getting consistency back on this channel that I used to have, but I haven't found in a long time. So if I can get consistent again and keep this growth train going, once again, I want to say thank you. I know I've said it about 4 times already. Any questions, comments, concerns about the draft classes or anything else that you might want to talk to me about, you can leave those in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I can finally say it. We're on the road to 200. Any of that's appreciated. Continue downloading my draft classes, liking the draft classes. Once again, I appreciate anybody that downloads and likes those as well. I've worked really hard on these, and I'm a football nerd, so this is my chance. This is how I kind of express it. So, the fact that a lot of people enjoy my passion project means a lot. So, I've already delayed this outro long enough. I won't keep you anymore. So, until I see you guys in the next video, like I said, I already said like, comment, share, subscribe. So, follow all my socials. It's King Firewolf 13 pretty much everywhere on, Instagram, X instead of Twitter now. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.